Hi everyone, I'm Jacob, and what I'm about to share is something I never thought I'd experience. I had an encounter that revealed the realms beyond this life, a glimpse into both heaven and hell. The day everything changed was one that began like any other. I was an average person, neither too involved with religion nor with the idea of an afterlife. My days consisted of work, family, and occasional leisure, and thoughts of life's deeper meanings were few and far between. Growing up, I wasn't raised in a deeply religious household, so my understanding of heaven, hell, or any afterlife was vague at best. I imagined that these concepts were more symbolic than literal, ideas meant to guide moral behavior rather than actual places. However, my experience that fateful day transformed this understanding completely, and I'm compelled to share it because it's become an unshakable reality for me. What started as an ordinary day quickly became one that would forever change my life and my understanding of existence. A sudden, unforeseen accident became the doorway to a realm beyond our physical reality, a dimension where every aspect of my life felt laid bare, and every action seemed to hold profound weight. It was an out-of-body experience, one where I felt my consciousness drift from the mortal realm into an entirely different dimension. In those fleeting moments, a curtain seemed to lift, revealing realms that were both awe-inspiring and terrifying. They felt more real than anything I'd experienced in my lifetime, a reality far deeper and richer than our everyday world. As my awareness expanded beyond earthly confines, I began to sense that I was not alone. There was a presence with me, guiding me through these realms, though I couldn't discern its face or form. Yet, I felt a connection, a guiding energy that was compassionate yet firm. This presence seemed to understand my confusion, my fear, and my disbelief, and it gently propelled me forward. I was shown scenes from my life and from the lives of others, moments of kindness and instances of wrongdoing, all of which unfolded with startling clarity. It felt as though every detail of my existence had been catalogued, and now I was being shown the true weight of each choice. As the journey continued, I realized I was moving through realms that seemed to be shaped by the choices people made during their earthly lives. It was an overwhelming revelation that everything we do, every decision we make, has an impact that transcends this life. I could feel the immense weight of every seemingly insignificant action, and I began to understand how each one carved a path either toward light or into darkness. My perspective on life shifted dramatically as I saw how people's intentions, both good and ill, influenced the reality they would inhabit after death. It became increasingly clear that these were not just symbolic realms, but vivid realities in which souls would reside indefinitely. Returning from this journey, I felt compelled to reevaluate everything I thought I knew. I had been given a glimpse of what lies beyond, a first-hand experience of the consequences of life's choices, and it instilled within me a profound sense of responsibility. This was not a dream or hallucination. It was a reality so palpable and so unshakable that I could never view life the same way again. Now, every action, every thought, felt monumental, knowing that it was either aligning me with light or pushing me further into darkness. The urgency I felt upon returning was unlike anything I'd ever known, a burning need to share this experience, in the hope that it would awaken others to the truth of what awaits beyond this life. As my consciousness drifted upward, the overwhelming sense of peace and serenity enveloped me, and I knew I was approaching something truly divine. The atmosphere was radiant, unlike anything I had ever encountered. It wasn't merely light. It was a brilliance filled with life, warmth, and unimaginable beauty. The air itself seemed alive, brimming with a profound sense of harmony, and the radiance filled me with a peace that went beyond mere words. Each moment drew me closer to this light, and I felt as if every burden from my earthly existence was slowly lifting away. In this realm, the sights and sounds were beyond earthly comprehension. Colors were vivid and pure, radiating a sense of completeness. I could see fields, rivers, and mountains that exuded life, their hues more intense than anything back on earth. The very essence of heaven was alive with vibrancy, beauty, and perfect order. Every flower, tree, and ripple of water seemed to possess a purpose and joy in its existence, as if all creation was united in a melody of peace. The atmosphere was thick with a purity that made every breath feel refreshing, reviving. The people, too, were radiant with peace and love, each one reflecting a warmth that was both comforting and awe-inspiring. They wore expressions of joy and contentment as they moved in a harmony I had never seen before. It wasn't only a physical presence but a profound connection that I could feel in the core of my being. Though I didn't recognize their faces, I felt an immediate connection with each one of them, as if we were all a part of something greater, something eternally bound in love and peace. As I explored this magnificent realm, a soft melody filled the air, a sound more beautiful than any music I had ever heard. The melody resonated through everything, not merely as a sound but as an essence, a pulse within each thing around me. It seemed as though all of heaven was in tune, harmonizing in a song of joy and reverence that spoke to my soul, reaffirming the beauty and holiness of this place. The very air seemed to hum in unity with the beings that filled this realm, singing praises that felt eternal and undisturbed by time. This first glimpse of heaven revealed to me that joy, peace, and love were not merely emotions but living, breathing parts of this realm, woven into its very fabric. It was a place where everything and everyone existed in perfect communion, aligned with an unbreakable peace. This experience stirred within me a desire to remain forever in this light, in this perfect harmony. However, I knew I was there only to witness, to glimpse what awaits those who seek truth and walk in love. This encounter would forever change my understanding of what lies beyond life as we know it. The scene around me, once filled with brilliance and warmth, began to shift in ways I hadn't anticipated. The light dimmed, subtly at first, then more markedly, as if clouds were creeping over a bright, clear sky. I felt a sense of heaviness descend, a weight pressing into the tranquility I had felt only moments before. I found myself hesitating, as though an unseen barrier was trying to hold me back from something I could sense but not yet see. In this moment, an unease began to settle over me, a foreboding that chilled my spirit. As I ventured further, the atmosphere grew darker and colder. The radiant light of heaven seemed a distant memory, replaced by a murky gloom that swallowed my surroundings. Strange shadows twisted and shifted around me, revealing glimpses of what felt like despair, regret, and suffering etched into the very fabric of this place. The silence was unsettling, weighed down by an ominous presence, as though the air itself held unspeakable secrets. I was no longer in a place of peace and unity. This was a realm touched by sorrow and darkness. Suddenly, faint cries and whispers began to fill the air, echoing from the depths of this shadowy place. They were not merely sounds. They were expressions of agony and hopelessness, voices laced with a desperate yearning for something beyond reach. Each cry resonated with a unique tone of despair, a chilling reminder of lives that had lost their way. It became clear that I was no longer in heaven. I was witnessing the entrance to a place where souls wandered, tormented by the burdens they had carried in life. I realized I was standing at the edge of hell itself. The transition was jarring, a stark contrast to the harmony I had encountered moments before. Here, souls seemed trapped in a cycle of anguish, each one reliving moments of remorse, sorrow, and choices that had led them away from light. These weren't mere punishments but reflections of internal conflicts unresolved, their spirits echoing the choices that had turned them from paths of love and peace. The further I ventured, the more I saw how these souls bore the marks of a life misled, a life that had overlooked the warnings and wisdom given in life. What struck me most was how some souls remained in denial, unwilling to acknowledge their suffering as the result of their own choices. They lashed out at the emptiness, as if blaming others for their plight, trapped in a state of bitterness that only deepened their torment. Their refusal to confront the truth was part of their agony, a loop of denial and self-inflicted suffering. In contrast, some souls seemed to accept their suffering as a consequence, bearing it with a resigned sorrow that hinted at understanding yet offered no escape. I felt a pull to return to the light, yet an invisible force urged me to look closer, to understand what I was seeing. Each soul bore a story, a lesson wrapped in their suffering. As much as this sight horrified me, it also felt like a cautionary glimpse, an urgent reminder of the choices that carry eternal weight. It was as if the anguish of these souls was pleading with me, warning me to share their stories so others might choose differently. The torment I witnessed was not only a reflection of hell but a message, a plea for those still living to heed. With each step, I sensed the urgency to turn back, a voice within me growing louder, imploring me to remember what I had seen. I knew this journey had purpose, that I was being shown both sides of eternity for a reason. It was a stark reminder of the paths available to us all, a choice each soul must make. The vividness of these experiences would remain with me forever, leaving me with a message to carry back to the world. Heaven and hell, light and darkness, they are real, and our lives determine where we will find ourselves beyond this earthly existence. Witnessing the souls in heaven and hell taught me profound truths about the human spirit and the choices we make. In heaven, each soul radiated peace, their lives on earth marked by love, compassion, and unwavering faith. They had embraced virtues, prioritizing others, and lived humbly with genuine kindness. In contrast, the souls in hell were tormented by regret, embodying choices steeped in pride, self-centeredness, and disregard for others' well-being. Their suffering highlighted the weight of living for fleeting earthly pleasures instead of spiritual depth. In heaven, I noticed how each soul's joy was rooted in selflessness and grace. Their happiness stemmed not from wealth or worldly success, but from lives dedicated to lifting others and honoring a higher purpose. They had avoided resentment, embraced forgiveness, and sought peace, not conflict. In hell, souls held on to bitterness and anger that only deepened their misery. Those who chose division and hate in life found themselves trapped in the torment that mirrored their choices. Both realms revealed the power of accountability. In heaven, souls took responsibility for their growth, embracing humility and repentance. They viewed their lives with wisdom and saw every challenge as an opportunity to deepen their love and connection to the divine. Hell was filled with souls who had evaded accountability, clinging to denial and pride, unable to escape the consequences of their choices. Their suffering was a reminder of the importance of owning our actions with honesty. The contrast showed me that real freedom lies in aligning with love, truth, and humility. The souls in heaven had surrendered their lives to divine purpose, letting go of control and allowing God to lead them. They trusted in higher wisdom, and this trust freed them from worldly burdens. Souls in hell, however, had pursued power and control in life, only to find themselves bound by those very desires, which now brought them unending despair. Ultimately, the greatest lesson was the eternal impact of our earthly choices. Every soul, through their experiences, underscored that what we sow in life, we will indeed reap beyond it. Heaven and hell became reflections of our deepest truths, our decisions, and our willingness to live with love and integrity. It was clear that each moment, each choice, could be a step toward eternal peace or an eternity of regret. As I returned from this extraordinary journey, my heart was heavy with an urgent message for the world. I felt compelled to share this experience, knowing that what I had seen wasn't merely a vision, but a truth meant to stir hearts and awaken spirits. The reality of heaven and hell had become as tangible to me as my own hands. I knew I couldn't keep silent, for too many walk blindly, unaware of the consequences of their choices. I wanted people to understand that life is a sacred journey, and each decision we make shapes our eternal path. I wished that everyone could feel what I had felt, to experience the love in heaven and the agony in hell, if only for a moment. Perhaps then, hearts would turn away from pride, anger, and greed. I saw the need for this message to break through hardened hearts, to awaken a deeper understanding of love, humility, and repentance. My encounter left me with a newfound clarity that earthly pursuits, while necessary, should not consume us. I saw so clearly that money, fame, and power, when sought above all else, lead to emptiness and despair. I wanted to urge others to value love, family, kindness, and connection above all worldly gains. These were the treasures that would accompany us beyond this life. All else would be left behind. In my heart, I felt a deep sense of responsibility to be a beacon of this truth. I knew that sharing my story would challenge beliefs, even offend some. But if even one person could find hope, if one soul could be redirected toward light and love, it would be worth it. I had glimpsed eternity, and it was too profound a message to ignore. I couldn't bear to think of others facing the suffering I had witnessed. As I share this message with you, I ask you to consider deeply your own life, your own choices. The journey to heaven is one of humility, love, and faithfulness. Let us choose wisely, for in every act of kindness, every moment of forgiveness, we move closer to the light. Heaven awaits those who live with love, while hell is real for those who turn away. Let us each live as though eternity depends on it, because it does. If the story touches your heart, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's spread this message of hope, repentance, and transformation to as many people as possible.